Hey billionaires, you are watching episode 10, season 2, with or without you, of Billions. There is so much going on. What's the latest with the feud of Rhoades versus Axe? You're gonna find out. Stay right there, because it's right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
We're gonna let this roll for just a second. How iconic and how perfect that Billions set me up with this theme song for today. What's up, guys? I'm Andrea Fasano, and you can find me at Andy Fasano on all social media. You can definitely find me in the chat. I know some people are right there now watching. We have Jason Aaron, we have Captain Osage, and Barons von Dengler. Not really sure what that name's about, but I love it. Welcome back to the after show here at AFTERBUZZ TV. Frank is gone this week. I know he gave you guys the heads up last week. I'm back. I'm psyched to be back. And, you know, he's off visiting the Homeland somewhere. So, Frank, we miss ya. I appreciate the shout outs. You know, we had my boyfriend Jason on a few weeks ago. That was really fun with a special guest from Billions. So if you guys missed that episode, go back and watch them. We only have a few left for Billions, so it's really getting down to the nitty gritty here. So much, like always, in this episode to talk about. And let's start with the social media. You guys have been awesome staying tuned in, and I know that Frank shouted out a little bit last week. We have Lori Stone Haskell shouting out and writing some predictions that Lara is gonna leave Bobby. Really funny that she said that last episode, because that's exactly what happened this episode. I don't know, were you guys surprised that she went back at the end? We'll get into that in a second. And Melissa Bischoff, you've been awesome. Please keep your comments coming. Love the interaction on there. So much to write about. I can't even get into it. But you guys, go check out YouTube. Leave some comments. As always, you can find us on iTunes. And yeah, let's get started. So, Billions, episode 10, with or without you. You know, I kind of want to jump into the special guest of this week's show, Miss Minchek. Mary Louise Parker, she is so brilliant. She even puts on that thick Southern accent for this one. She's really, I love that as an actress, she takes her time with this role. You just see her, she's kind of just, you know, enjoying her time there. I felt like it was a little slow with her, but it just went with the whole character. Loved that we saw what kind of presence she's gonna be to Chuck Rhoades. She lets him kind of do his thing, waits for him to tell her what's going on. And then, you know, as a true PR person, really dug deep. She knew how to call him out right away. And you guys know her from Weeds, West Wing. She's from the movie Red, you know, with, what's his name? I'm blanking on his name right now. The one who voices every show ever. Morgan Freeman. That just came to me. And I love her. I hope we see a ton more of her, obviously for the next 2 episodes, but maybe in the future, past that for season 3. So she was awesome. Let me know what you guys thought on her presence on the show, and what you think's gonna happen. Unbelievable twist. I want to know if anyone predicted that out there. As soon as we saw the BDSM girl that Chuck usually goes to when he has permission, I really want to know who called that, because that threw me in the beginning of the episode when that guy was there. And you're wondering if it's someone we know at first, and then he steals her laptop. And we find out later on that it's obviously Chuck's father, or Chuck's, you know, henchman that gets the laptop. I mean, he puts in the work. He was visiting her for 3 months. And you just want to see what stuff she has on him. I mean, that's really, really thought out on Chuck's side, and really smart. I just completely was shocked by the fact that he then gave that to Miss Minchek. So really interesting. I know we have someone talking about Mary Louise Parker's character, very similar to her role in West Wing. I didn't watch that, so thank you for that. But yeah, I don't know. That's a twist for me, that I wonder what's going to come up from him having that, or from her having that access. And it was really fun. I thought the banter between the two characters of Rhoades and Minchek was a really fun, refreshing new light towards the end of a season too. So that was awesome. We can then let's get into, we have Captain Osage says he likes her. I agreed. And yeah, you didn't see that coming with the laptop. It was awesome. I loved also at the sandwich bar when the madam comes and visits Mr. Martinez and squashes his hand. It's like she's giving him a taste still of what he's missing, and he loves it. But really funny because in the previews you think that he's going to get caught or revealed, but really he obviously has a one-up on it, but he's got to get permission. So who knows, with him rekindling the flame with Wendy, is he going to get permission and get back into that? And then this is a prediction. Obviously, I'm not going to save it to the end because it's just me today, so I'll say whatever I'm going to say now so I don't forget it. But I think that, Jason says a nice segue back into the BDSM for Chuck. I think that now he's back with Wendy. He's obviously going to get permission to go visit her again, but it's going to come up and burn him somehow. Even though he's got the clearance with the laptop and he's covering all those angles, he's going to make a mistake. He just is. I was going to say because he's a man, and I know I'm going to get tackled for that online, but sometimes you just don't think with your brain. You know what you think with. So, oh God, I wish Frank was here right now to debate me in that because that would be really fun. Moving on, let's talk about Wendy and Chuck. Obviously, we've had a lot of people predicting, are they going to get back together? Are they going to break up throughout the season? A lot has gone down with them as far as trust, as far as needs. And then Wendy goes back to Axe Capital. We see that she's not entirely happy there. She did do it in part for Chuck. She did do it in part for herself as well. And then you constantly see Chuck's side where from his father and everybody who's trying to help him in this race now, obviously Miss Minchek being a part of that, saying, you've got to repair this or you've got to get rid of her, because obviously her being involved with Wall Street is not a plus for him. So he loves Wendy. We've seen that. He actually tells her about him running, which I think was surprising for me as well. I wasn't sure when he was going to do that, but I felt like he stopped short of the truth and he could have kept going on with what, a little more of like, I don't know, what is he going to say? I need you back. But, just opening up that conversation, I think would have helped with Wendy. But then you have the other side of that. Is it going to be revealed that Wendy slept with someone else? When's that going to happen? That's going to come up and blow up in her face. But it's just a constant battle of back and forth with them. And listen, I loved seeing her back in that outfit at the end of the episode. I mean, we didn't even get to see enough of her. And her dominating him again. It was fun. It's what literally started Billions. I think as an audience, we missed that in a little while. And, they brought it back just at the right time. So I was psyched about that. But yeah, what's going to happen with that? It'd be nice to see them back together for a minute. That's not where it's staying, sadly. So what do you guys think about that? It's really sad because I see Wendy in this episode, and she is usually the strong type. She has so many opinions. She is the therapist. She is just so mentally above where a lot of people in her life are, and she has such control. And it was really funny for not only to see Bobby get to her in that way that it kind of made her nervous about her safety, but then she goes running to Chuck and he questions it and he's like, that's not like you. You usually have a handle on this and you're not afraid of anything. So I'm sure he's wondering what really freaked her out in that moment. And you know what? She didn't really reveal what it was truly there too. What are we saying in this chat? Captain Osage, I felt so bad for Wendy. She was very vulnerable. Absolutely, in this episode. And you didn't like that Chuck didn't see it at first. At least he figured it out later. Yeah, and obviously it had to do with Lara. I was made fun of for saying Lara a couple of times. I don't know why I've done that in the past, but it's Lara. And yeah, you thought she was going to confess. She didn't. But Yeah, when she comes home, you thought it would happen. I know. We're just waiting. You know that nothing stays hidden in Billions. All of the truths come out. I believe, like in life, I say that the truth always comes out and it gets revealed somehow. And that leads me into Bobby and Lara. Talk about lying and truth coming out. Obviously, we saw in the last episode that Wendy took it upon herself to correct Lara when it came to Bobby lying to her about whose thoughts it was or whose idea it was for Wendy and Bobby to not see each other anymore in a professional setting. Wendy hears this and kind of can't keep her mouth shut because of the jab that Lara took to Wendy's relationship and marriage back a few episodes ago with the poker game. So you knew that she was going to correct it. I did wonder in the moment if she was going to keep her mouth shut and just swallow it and yell at Bobby for it later, but she didn't. And now Lara knows. She let him indulge with the races, and then we come back, and the first opening of this episode is a note from her saying, "You lied to me." And he knew what that meant. And it was kind of cool for us to get that behind the scenes about their relationship, as far as finding out that this is actually the first lie that Bobby ever told her. And that shows how strong their bond has been. And obviously, as the audience, we see that kind of breaking down and the little power moves that Bobby makes throughout the season. And that continues at the end when he goes in her phone and deletes his messages. What did you guys think of that? To me, that's a power play. That's him still kind of having the one up. I mean, even in his last voicemail, the things he was saying, it was really a kind of ego blow. And he was really being inappropriate with the way that he was going off on her and saying what he could have been doing. It not something you want to be yelling at your wife that you're trying to get back and saying, "This is what I haven't done, but I could have done all these things that were horrible and would have been horrible and kept them from you." You don't want somebody to hear that. Like, you could have lied, but you didn't. Good for you. So could she have. She could have done the same thing. Everybody doesn't get that in a relationship. You have to be open and honest. And yeah, it was really rough to see that kind of scene, but he still has to keep his ego up. He still has to keep his power over her. Kind of like what he was saying in the car. Look, I can remote control you. That was awful, but that's how Bobby thinks. And she knows that. That was in the conversation with her and Wendy, that he's a steamroller. He knows he needs to control everything, and he knows how to, but Lara is something that he kind of can't control. And because emotionally, he would miss her too much. So yeah, I mean, that was an interesting move by him to delete all those emails. I don't think it will really cost him anything in the long run, and I don't think it really will affect that relationship because obviously she came home. I didn't think she'd come home that night. I mean, who knows? She kind of got emotional with her conversation with Wendy, but he's not out of the doghouse. I mean, you saw her. She didn't want to hear it. She went right up to put those kids to bed. Didn't care what he had to say. You guys, I love the chatter that's going on right now in the chat room. Yeah, the last message was seriously some scary stuff. And Captain Osage yelling at Jason, it makes it all that more concerning. It's not like she left the country. Yep, he knew exactly where she was. He does need to treat ladies better, but I mean, he's a power player. Lara scared him. Someone wrote Laura. Hey, give me shelter. Thank you for joining the chat room. It's Lara, Lara. And yeah, she totally bruised his ego. And like we said, she's the only person in his world that can do that. He went to his brother-in-law's house to check if he was there. I love that with all the cops outside. That was really funny. And it shows he's not intimidated by anything, by anyone, except the thought of losing his wife. And that it's really interesting. It's something that we've been going back and forth about. Some people have predicted that by the end of the season, they're both broken up, and definitely Lara and Bobby, because that's kind of what happened with Wendy and Chuck by the end. And maybe you're right with that it'll be a nice reverse play with the two couples. Yeah, Lara's character isn't as strong as we thought in the beginning. Yeah, he likes when she's the quiet and supportive wife. I think he likes having her as his sidekick, having her as the decision maker. We saw that in the episodes surrounding Sandicott and how what she would do. I think he's kind of moved away from using her a lot in that way in his life, which I wonder, I don't know exactly where that comes from. Maybe his ego is getting too big. Maybe he's looking for something somewhere else. I don't know. It's really interesting, but I love all of your thoughts. So please keep them coming. Keep them coming. We have a lot going on in here, guys. Awesome. Anyway, that brings me to I love the little side conversations, you know, even with him and Wags that moved this whole along here. Before we dive back into Chuck and Wendy, how about Taylor and Brian, and everything that went kind of talk about power play between them two. I mean, Brian never had the power. He never does in any of these episodes. But, you know, you wondered if Taylor was going to come in and say something and kind of tell on Axe for his, you know, for whatever's going on, or just have that like kind of, you know, we've seen we've seen we've seen them have a struggle with what's fair, what's right. And with the promotion that they got in this episode, we really got to see how they really trust Bobby and really are playing into more on that side. And you know, we saw at the end of last episode too, with them getting on a plane and kind of buying into it. And I love the explanation though. I love that character and how they always find a way to justify the truth and what they're doing. And I mean them as a whole, as Axe Capital, as a job, you know, because I don't think you just fall into a position like this. I don't think you just fall into a job like this. They're really smart. And Taylor's character is amazing. And so I think that I love that Taylor is my spirit animal. I love that. I saw that in your comments a few weeks ago. Give me shelter. Yeah, I mean, you always get a kind of clarity from that character. And it's so funny because I think what was needed in Billions is that kind of balance, especially in Axe's world, and they really bring it to us. So I love that. It's kind of interesting to see where they were with Mafi and being on that balcony and paying that much money for an apartment every month. That is insane amount of money. You go from paying $1,200, which a lot of us out here in LA can understand and justify and see what that gets you, and then you're getting like a 360 balcony. That just shows you that they're really buying into it little by little. But I love the power play, that poker play that they brought to Brian in the office, called him up just to see what he knew, just to see what he had on Axe, and really just put that to bed, put that to rest. Like, he's got nothing. So, yeah, I remember that. Sorry, I'm reading something about Sandicott. There's actually something I want to go back to about that. But you know what? Perfect segue back into Chuck Rhoades. We have, yeah, I think Taylor's getting a bit cocky throughout and she's going to get into trouble. Yes, they are going to get into trouble. I think that actually is a really good, I think it's going to catch up with them sooner than later. But they are so smart that I think they'll keep their heads above water and kind of be Bobby's voice of clarity, voice of sanity, and you know, a heads up, and give him a heads up on what's going on, and really make those smart plays that doesn't get him in trouble. So speaking of Sandicott, like I said, just going back, Larry Boyd, I love him. I love him as a character. I love those eyes on camera. He's got gorgeous eyes for an older man. I just love his look. And you see him in the janitor suit and he's doing his time and he calls up Bobby. I'm kind of amazed at the lacks of supervision they give him, but yeah, he calls up Bobby, has a lead for him. I was wondering what that was all about at the beginning of the episode, and you know, I love that it came full circle with the ice juice business, and he gives them just a total heads up. He gives Bobby a heads up for a play that's going to crush the Rhoadeses. I cannot wait to see what happens with that. You know, that's Chuck Rhoades Jr.'s money there that we're talking about that he's going to steal. He's not just hurting Chuck Sr., which of course he wants to do because he knows that he brought down the Sandicott, the entire casino, and moved it and everything on him. So he thinks he's really playing him, but he's really screwing Chuck Jr., and that is going to be so powerful in the next 2 episodes. Just really awesome. I'm glad it brought it back to there. And yeah, so let me catch up with you guys here. I know I'm a little bit ahead, so you're behind in the chat room. Still talking about Brian and Taylor, absolutely. And Bobby is 20 steps ahead of Taylor. Yeah, I mean, we saw that in the fact that he knew through the chain of analysts that the report was going to get back, the report on Claxton Auto was going to get back to Taylor. And so you're right. I think they're going to help each other there. Question of, does this ever happen in real life? I don't know if a Wall Street does janitorial work. Hilarious and really good point. But I'm sure someone out there watching will have an opinion on that because we got some real great clarity from you guys throughout season 1. So someone's got to know the answer to that. So let's talk Rhoades and Wendy. Them getting back together. We've seen this coming up for a while now. We saw a few episodes ago, Wendy kind of wanted him to plant a kiss on her. They've been going back and forth. I've been rather cynical of this because I truly think, I know Rhoades loves her, and I know we were talking about this at the beginning. I think that Rhoades is just using her. Sadly, I really don't like this. I think that he's just trying to get back to her, back with her, because he has 2 agendas now, and Wendy really isn't one of them. She's just a card for him and just a pawn. I think that obviously him running for office is I'm going to say number 2, and number 1 is him getting Bobby. So he's going to do everything in his power. Listen, I really like the way that Paul Giamatti has been playing the character. I think it's innocent enough. I think it looks innocent enough. I think it is kind of fun and playful and really endearing. But I think he's just that good. And I think that his ambitions are really going to overtake that relationship, and it's going to go haywire. Oh no, Jason couldn't agree more. He loves her. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that could be your prediction at the end. We have Captain Osage saying, I'm worried Wendy is shouldering an unfair burden. Chuck sees her as this person who doesn't have a breaking point, and that will backfire. Absolutely. You know what? But Wendy really has hurt him before by going back. I mean, they've hurt each other. They just keep hurting each other. Obviously, we see in this episode again, there's a connection between the 2 of them that not many know about. And that says a lot about a relationship. I don't know. Maybe that will revive them and a lot will be disclosed. Maybe he won't care since he kissed someone else. Maybe he'll understand that they were on a break. Who knows? I mean, it was literally a day. So exactly, he wants his loyal wife to stand by him, but she also wants the emotional support because Bobby is not on her side anymore. I agree. And I think, she even talked to Lara about wanting, thinking no amount of money could buy her. And the job is really important to her, but we consistently see her not that happy in that job. So I'm really not sure how long she's going to last there. So who knows? Maybe she sees it as an advantage to her backing her husband and going along with him for the ride. We have, at the end of the day, they both think they have an open, honest relationship, and it's BS, and it's cool that the audience knows it. I absolutely agree. So yeah, I mean, that pretty much covers it. I don't know. I don't think Sandicott's over. I think we're obviously going to hear a little more about that. That's what I wanted to bring up. We saw Bobby really kind of like losing it. I mean, he called Lara like, what, 4 or 5 times throughout this episode. And he goes to his home, his kind of safe place, the pizza place. And he's got his guy, kind of like his uncle figure, there, and he's like, listen, Bobby, I'll give you a free slice and a soda, but you don't deserve, you've lost the right to have conversation with me anymore. And he's really pissed about what happened with, his nephew and the whole Sandicott thing and what he's doing to the town. So I don't think that's dead. I think it was a really important piece of the puzzle to kind of like put in there tonight by the writers. Obviously, we love them. They do such an incredible job. So, yeah, I love the camaraderie that's going on in the chat room right now. You guys are so awesome. Yes, the ice juice. We talked about that and how that's going to come back and bite him. Listen, that is just awesome. That was an awesome piece of the puzzle that just came full circle. That's what Billions does, y'all. It comes full circle just when you think that there's a piece that's not going to really have an effect on anyone. We have 2 episodes left. What is going to happen? What are your predictions, guys? I'm going to give you guys a minute in the chat room to give me your predictions of what's going on. I've got one. I really think that Chuck... Oh, see, you know what's really funny? I thought that Chuck wasn't going to tell her about the race, but I think that he's not going to reveal everything that's going on with him and the PR woman and kind of what he really needs now for him to run the race. And I think he's going to use Wendy. I'm sorry. I know that's cynical. We love them as couples and we want them to win and stay together. As far as Lara, I think that what someone said, I can't remember who throughout this, is really correct, that she's going to go back and she's burned right now. I think it was in the Wendy her conversation. She's going to try and forgive. She's not going to forget anytime soon. She's going to make Bobby pay for it because she knows how he works with the power struggle, and she's going to try and get her power back in that relationship. So somehow I think that's going to go down. Then on the other hand, I know how much she likes to help him in his business, and maybe she tries to help him bring someone else down. I don't know. It's so confusing, but I'm so excited. And I can't believe it's 2 episodes left because we know there's going to be a long time before season 3 comes back around. We have some people saying Bobby finally realized you can't buy friendship. And we have a prediction. Bobby's going to make Chuck broke on ice juice. Yes, I said that already. Absolutely. It's really going to hurt Chuck in the pockets. But, oh, you think it will expose him in the election? I think that a lot is going to go down with the election. However, Chuck has a lot of people in his corner right now, like a lot. And Blackjack is not going to go down easy. He's got a lot of ammo up his sleeves. And so once he sees Chuck kind of losing it, I don't know, I think he might come back around. Here's another prediction. Connerty isn't as dull as Taylor thinks he is. What does that mean? What do you think's going to happen? I mean, he's not going to let her go. He knows what latte they orders in the morning. I'm so sorry. I keep messing that up. But yeah, I mean, what do you think that means for that? Listen, I also don't think Taylor's going to give up their angle on all of it because they know that they're being watched now. So, what else does Connerty have? Nothing. And we hardly saw Kate at all and her role this week. So, you guys, I want to know more predictions. What do you think of everything we talked about today? Feel free to always tweet us at #ABTVBillions. You guys can please go to YouTube, leave comments there. Frank and I definitely check them every week. The 2 of us will be back for the last 2 remaining episodes. You can count on that. What else are we writing? Blackjack will definitely recreate the Alamo before he goes down. Absolutely. Taylor has not done one illegal thing ever. Agreed, and don't think they will. And they're going to underestimate him and they'll slip up. Interesting. I don't agree with that. So that all being said, you guys have been so awesome. Thank you so much for watching this season 2, episode 10 of Billions, with or without you. Love the YouTube reference. I just said YouTube because I'm looking at it. Really awesome throwback, and that kind of, you got to saw behind the scenes with Lara and Bobby and their whole relationship. So I thought that was awesome. Please feel free to comment. Make sure you shout out to me at Andrea Fasano on all social media, mostly Twitter, because that will get me involved, and check out my Instagram. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will catch you next week back with Frank here at AfterBuzz. See you later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.